Hey everyone, well here we go again with number 43 on my countdown of the greatest underrated, underappreciated, and or unknown guitar solos of all time. With this very underrated and fantastic solo from Jimmy Page and Led Zeppelin with 10 Years Gone from the band's 1975 Physical Graffiti album. One of my absolute favorite Zeppelin tracks ever. Oh, hey, you like this week's guitar? Isn't this a beauty? A little dusty, though. This is a 2018 Gibson ES335 loaned to me by my guitar buddy from work, Ronnie. Hi, Ronnie. What we're looking at here is basically B.B. King's Lucille, aren't we? Even right down to the color. Though I don't think Lucille has the F-holes, if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, you get one of these babies in your lap, and you just got to play some B.B. King. Anyway, until earlier this week, I've never so much as held an ES335 in my hands. And I've got to tell you, I absolutely hate it. I'm kidding, of course, but the tone on this thing is absolutely gorgeous. And it plays like a dream. But the bloody size of these things, you know? It's so damned uncomfortable to play from a standpoint of size. I don't know how people do it. Considering that I never play large acoustic guitars, and I'm very much a Strat, super Strat style guitar player, this thing just seems massive, like all this body up here. I can't get comfortable with this at all. She sure is pretty, though. I really like these guitars, but, since I had it this week, I thought that it would make a good fit for this slower, bluesy type solo from Jimmy Page. Despite knowing that Jimmy Page did not use an ES335 on this one. I think he used a Telecaster, but I'm not 100% on that, so don't quote me. But I figured that this would work quite nicely. That said, I've had this guitar now for a few days, and, playing it, putting it back in its case, playing it, putting it back in its case, playing it, putting it back in its case. It's a damned expensive guitar, like $4,500 or something like that here in Canada. And I have a 5-year-old running around this place, so I like to safely put it away when I'm not actually using it. Yesterday, I sent Ronnie a text joking that one of the nicest features about this guitar is that every time you try to put it back in its case, it's practically impossible to not bang the tuners into the side, thus knocking it out of tune when one's trying to get it back into its very snugly fitted case. And, he countered with the text, "Stop destroying my guitar." And fair enough, I guess. Anyway, later in the day, we were discussing the guitar and its tone. And he said, to me, that guitar sounds like Otis Redding and Whitney Houston put together. And I looked at him like I had no idea what he was talking about. Because frankly, I legitimately had no idea what he was talking about, so I just walked away. And then I started thinking, Otis Redding and Whitney Houston, what the hell does that mean? What do they have to do with guitars? Otis Redding. Okay, well, Otis Redding was a soul singer, and Whitney Houston had a really good voice. And then I started putting it together, and I went up to him and I said, is it because the guitar has soul and can really sing? And he said, exactly. You're weird, I said, and then I walked away again. But, now I've heard of people describing their guitars, against other guitars, and I've heard people, describe guitars against other certain guitar players, but I've never seen anyone compare a guitar to different singers. Like this guitar sounds like Frank Sinatra, and this one's got a little bit of Tina Turner in it, and, that's kind of a bit Engelbert Humperdinck in this guitar. An interesting way of looking at things, but then again, Ronnie is wired a little bit differently than most people. Heck of a nice fella, though, and with an absolutely amazing guitar collection. Some people even think that he's also really funny. Not me, but, some people. Anyway, I'm getting a little bit sidetracked here. Back to 10 Years Gone. Now, I have an online guitar student, just the one for now, a nice fella from California. Hi, Dan. I think, Dan, you're going to like this video for certain reasons. When he initially contacted me and asked me to teach him guitar, he had one set goal in mind: to learn to play the solo to 10 Years Gone by the end of the year, or within a year. A worthy and achievable goal, I'd say. I mean, how could I say no? And I didn't. It's easily one of my top three Zeppelin tunes and one of my favorite solos of Jimmy Page's, despite it not being one of the more high profile Zeppelin tracks. This is what one could call an underrated Zeppelin classic, if they indeed have any songs that could be considered underrated. But you know what I'm talking about. It's not a Zeppelin track that you're going to hear very often, if at all, on your local classic rock radio station. It's not Kashmir, it's not Stairway to Heaven, it's not Whole Lotta Love or The Ocean or Going to California or Black Dog or Rock and Roll, so on and so forth. So it's one of those underrated classics, I guess. But make no mistake, it's one of Zeppelin's very best songs, and stems, like I said, from their 1975 album Physical Graffiti. And it actually began its life as kind of this complex instrumental that Jimmy Page was working on. The story goes that he had this instrumental with like 14 different guitar layers as part of the instrumental. But upon reworking it and adding lyrics by Robert Plant and turning it into an actual song rather than an instrumental, I think he chilled out a little bit on some of those layers and simplified it a bit, but it's still got some exquisitely layered guitar parts throughout. Some of Jimmy's finest playing and a really killer riff. Jimmy Page never so much as wrote, a song, but composed rock and roll classics. He was just an amazing musical arranger, a genius, a musical genius, one might say, and many have. Anyway, love this song and absolutely love this solo. It's just so out of the ordinary, this solo for Jimmy. It's such a chill, laid back solo, very unlike most of his solos, except maybe the opening to Since I've Been Loving You. Just a cool little beautifully constructed D major scale solo, or a mixolydian if you're looking at it from a modal standpoint. A mixolydian is actually known in certain guitar circles as the 10-year gone scale, I recently discovered. So that's pretty cool. I really don't have a whole heck of a lot more to say about this one. I've covered Jimmy Page so many times and discussed him so many times. I'm all out of stuff to say about him at this point. I needed a solo like this at number 43. I'm just coming off Al Di Meola's Race with the Devil on a Spanish Highway, and it took me a few weeks to learn it and get it together and get it up to speed. So I needed something a little bit simpler and laid back to keep this project going at a clip. Too many solos in a row, like Race with the Devil on a Spanish Highway, and I'll be here till the end of time trying to get through this list. That said, and of course, as many of you know, fast and long and technically difficult does not always a great solo make. And this one, it was just the perfect tonic to follow up Al Di Meola with. However, in the case of Al Di Meola, fast and technical does a good solo make. However, this one, just a nice, relatively easy, but beautifully constructed classic from Jimmy Page. One of his finest for sure. All right, I'm just going to leave that there. That is all I've got to say about that one. Going to keep it short this week. I kind of went off the rails a little bit there, but that's all right. I hope you're well in your little guitar corner of the world. Hope you enjoyed my take on this Zeppelin classic solo. And we will see you next time. Cheers.